Hey guys, it's Tiff. Hope you're doing well. It is, what is it, the 24th of January, it's Thursday. I haven't updated you in a while, and I'm sorry. So, let's try and rewind. I went on the 14th to the doctor's, had an ultrasound, no heartbeat. I got blood work done that day. I got blood work done the Wednesday, so 2 days later, and I get a call on Friday that my HCG levels are decreasing and that there was no heartbeat and the pregnancy is no longer viable, that I am going to miscarry, or am miscarrying. So I have a follow-up appointment on, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the calendar. I had a follow-up appointment on the 22nd, which was this past Monday. And we went over my options. I originally on Friday was told, you can sit and wait, you can take the medicine, misoprostol, or we can do a D&C. It's really whatever you're comfortable with. Well, I just don't feel like I can wait. So my initial thought was, okay, we'll just do the pills. And I'm like, cool, okay, that's what I'm thinking, but I'm going to wait for the weekend, and I'll talk to you on, Monday or Tuesday. So I go in for my appointment on Tuesday, and over the weekend I was, asking online for people's experiences and horror stories and success stories and just like what to expect. I just don't know. So I got a lot of really good feedback, which was helpful. And however, it did kind of change my mind to wanting a D&C, and for a couple of reasons. I don't know that I am mentally prepared or ready to. The pain is not the issue. I could not care less about the pain aspect of it, but I don't know that I can mentally prepare to give birth. Go through all of that, because it's like a mini birth, to have to go through that for absolutely nothing. I don't think my grieving is tied to passing the fetus, the baby, the embryo, the whatever you want to call it. And I don't think my grieving is tied to that. And there's a lot of people that right around the same gestational period I am, which is like 7 to 9 weeks, somewhere around there. A lot of them, and it could just be that these particular people were the ones that were responding, had said that they had issues with the misoprostol. Either they had to take it multiple times, or they ended up having to get a D&C anyway. And it was just, for me, I think mentally, I want it to be over, and there's less than a 1% chance of any complications. It's a pretty in and out surgery. It is anesthesia, so it is going to cost substantially more. I'm on a high deductible plan, so it's going to essentially come out of my pocket until my deductible's met. So financially, I had to assume responsibility for that too, but I think that it just is better. So I told her on Tuesday that that's what I wanted, and my midwife obviously can't perform the D&C, so there was another person in her office, Dr. Argelis, and he was trying to see if he could put me on the schedule for that day or the next day, and he just didn't have any time. So I went in for a consult today, which is Thursday, and tomorrow is my D&C. I am supposed to be there at 10, and it is at 12, and they said that it normally takes like 26 minutes. Could be a little bit longer, could be a little less, but it's pretty in and out, and I can go home, and I should just have like an easy weekend. They said that bleeding is usually like, it is not really crampy, but just a little bit of light spotting bleeding, kind of like you're weaning off your period. And he said that could last for the weekend, a couple of days, or it could last like through a whole cycle. It's so dependent on the person, or you could not bleed at all. So he explained the procedure, answered my questions. He was very patient and kind. Everyone there has been, which is really nice. And just the explanation that he gave me from not a clinical, but like a person-to-person, was really helpful. And, he even went over my results of my ultrasound, and was like, this is what they saw, not the pictures, but like the summary and stuff, and this is how much it was measuring, and this is why, and all the things that they did to make sure that what they saw was accurate. And that was kind of reassuring because I had not a great experience at the ultrasound place. So that was helpful. I guess I should probably rewind to when I had to tell everybody. So obviously we were pretty, and I know that I sound really cold, but I've cried plenty, and I'm sure I'll probably cry some more, but in this moment I'm doing okay and just want to tell you what I'm experiencing besides acne, and that's a mess. But so I found out on that Friday, I got a call on the 18th saying, hey, just so you know, this is what's happening. You're going to miscarry. It's actually called a missed abortion, which is really hard to hear, but it's a missed miscarriage or a missed abortion, meaning that my body it hasn't done anything yet. And it hasn't. I've had a little bit of spotting back and forth, but they think that that's the subchorionic hemorrhage still, which is another issue, but I'm hoping that with the DNC it'll actually kind of help that, like, clear everything out and get rid of that as well. So I told Ben to please come downstairs. I was at work, so he came down. I told him. I then immediately sent a message to Ashley, to Amanda, and to my mom, and then I kind of lost it. Couldn't really keep it together. I was just having to tell people that. I felt like I was disappointed, that I was disappointing them, a little bit of shame, a little bit of guilt, which makes no sense. I know that, but it made no sense. But that's just how I felt, and pretty crushing in general. So I had a moment of just crying by myself, but luckily my office mate wasn't here, so it was just me down here. But none other than my manager comes downstairs while this is happening and comes in and he, hands me a paper, and then I guess he sees me and he's like, are you okay? And I said, do you really want to know? Kind of like jokingly, and he says, no. And like, he was joking too, and then he says, of course I want to know, like, what's going on. So I tell him, because I couldn't think of something fast enough. I could not think of a lie, or like my pet rock passed away, like I couldn't think of something. So I told him, and he was really compassionate and kind and sincere, and like, take time if you need it. It's a big deal. If you need time, that's fine. If you want to be here, that's fine too. Like, if Ben needs time off, that's fine. And I told him, I'm sorry for telling him, essentially. Like, I know that that's not something he wanted to hear, and but he's been really kind about it, which has been helpful. And just kind of a little bit easier too. I can kind of tell him I have a doctor's appointment. I have, this coming up this weekend or this Friday, and he's like totally fine with it, aware, and just, I'm keeping him in the loop, giving him some information. He doesn't need everything. He doesn't want everything. And I think that that's like a good mix for me. I feel like I'm holding myself accountable and being like, telling someone what's actually occurring and why I'm not here. And, I don't know. It's kind of been comforting in my manager knowing, which I didn't think was going to be the case at all. But so I go in today. I find out my surgery time, and no eating, no drinking, all that stuff, which is no big deal. So I asked my mom. My mom was working. I asked my brother. My brother was working. I didn't want Ben to have to take off. Ashley works. Sean works. Like, going through the list of people, and then I was like, you know what? I know who I can always ask, and that would be Kristen. So my mother-in-law, my stepmom, is going to be taking me, and Ben's just going to drop me off at their house tomorrow. We're going to go, and I'm going to have the procedure done, and then I'm going to go back to their house, hang out for a while until Ben gets off, or I might have her drop me off at the house if I'm feeling good. They said that they don't want me driving, but I shouldn't need like supervision. But it's been sad. Now everyone officially that knew that I was pregnant knows that I'm no longer, or I'm miscarrying. And so everyone that needs to know knows. Great. And I'm having a little bit of trouble because I have to, answer phone calls about doctors and like be off some of this. So I have some people that I work with that I absolutely do not want them to know, and they are very interested in figuring out what's going on, and I'm not having it. So that's kind of where we are with that. I've had like no appetite, and then I'm also like emotional eater. I'm an emotional eater, so all I want to do is like eat and sleep. So it's been really weird. My weight has kind of just like mind fucked me. That's totally, it's not completely unrelated, but it is something that is kind of like a subsequent side effect. You know, I've been on this weight loss journey and all that stuff, and then I get pregnant and I'm like, okay, you know, I know I don't need to increase my calories like a whole bunch, but at that point I was in a pretty severe calorie deficit because I'm still trying to lose weight. So I end up increasing my calories to a more, you know, what my base metabolic rate requires and all that basal metabolic rate requires. And so then I ended up gaining a little bit of weight, and which lack of exercise and then eating more calories, I guess, is just how that works. You know what I mean? So my lowest weight was 186 and my highest weight recently was 199, and now I'm back down to 191. So I'm feeling a little bit better about that, but it was just like adding injury to insult. You know, I felt like if I'm pregnant, at least there's a little bit of an excuse, I guess that's what you want to call it, to gain weight. Like, oh, I'm pregnant. Not that I'm eating for two, but like you're growing something, you know, like it makes sense that you're gaining weight. And then it was like, you're gaining weight and you're not pregnant anymore. There's that. And that was difficult. That was difficult because it was like, I don't know. I just have a really unhealthy relationship with my weight. I know that. It's something that I'm working on, and it's gotten better, and I am aware of it. I know that it is, some of my thoughts are unhealthy. And it was just a lot. So tonight I go home. I don't really do anything pre-op. I can eat up until midnight. I can drink clear fluids up until 6 a.m. I'm supposed to be at the hospital at 10, surgery at 12, should be back home by like 1:30. And then just take it easy for the weekend. And then I have another follow-up appointment next week, Thursday next week, just to make sure everything's okay. Yeah, so I'm doing okay. I mean, it really just depends like moment to moment, and some stuff is like super triggering, which is just like, I have a lot of friends that have recently had babies or are pregnant right now and kind of going through it, and I am so incredibly happy for them, and I love my nephew. See what I mean? Like, there's certain stuff that just gets me. I love him. He's like, what, 4 months old? And the day I found out, I called, or I texted Amanda and was like, hey, just wanted to let you know. And she was like, dude, that sucks. I'm so sorry. And then we ended up being able to connect on Saturday or Sunday night, Sunday, and went over and just ate wings and like hung out. And it was so nice to be around them and to see Declan. See what I mean? And then, like, the other night, I had one of my friends, her name is also Amanda, come over, and she's pregnant with twins. And I think she's like 13 weeks. And I'm just so over the moon happy for her, but it's also a little hard, you know? There we go. So, and just in my line of work, I do all of our disability claims, and we have a very high female population here, so a lot of the claims that come through are maternity. And I don't know, it's like, it's kind of comforting to be able to see these like success stories, and like, you have a baby, you're like having one, you just had one, you're going on maternity leave soon. Like, I do not want it to come across that I am not happy for them at all, or that I don't love the kids that are in my life. It just added some like sensitivity, I guess, that I'd never even thought of before. And it makes you just think, like, have I ever been insensitive to someone else going through this? Like, and you know, I feel the pain of one of my friends that has gone through some miscarriages, and like me telling her that I was pregnant, I bet that really stung. And like, I see it now, you know. Hopefully I'll be able to have a pregnancy, and I'll be able to have, you know, I'll be a mom eventually, and I think that'll be the case. I truly do. I think that, you know, hopefully this is just a one-off, and the next time I'll be able to, or, you know, I hope I don't have to experience this again, but I'm willing to finally be able to carry my own. But it's like I understand a little bit of, I mean, I how do I word that? At least I understand the realm of feeling that they could potentially have, you know, if they've miscarried and I told them, like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. Because now, like, I'm kind of going through that. So to everyone that has ever had a miscarriage, like at any stage, it sucks. And sometimes you're completely okay with it and it's fine. And then other times you're incredibly sad, and just like now, like breaking down over happy things, people getting pregnant and having babies and you loving them and like being able to hug and cuddle them. Like, yeah, it just makes you think a little bit, you know, it makes you be introspective, there we go, introspective of, and just trying to be a little bit more kind to people that have potentially gone through this. You know, you don't know what other people have gone through. So that's that. I really thought I was going to get through this like totally fine, but you talk about my little sweet baby nephew, I lose it. So there's that. I really, like, in the grand scheme of things, I know that I probably sound and look crazy. I am doing fine. Like, mentally I'm sad. Physically I'm fine. I'm not really experiencing anything. I've had some bleeding just like normal, like what's new since Christmas, hello. And acne. I don't like that, but it could just be that I've been also eating like absolute garbage up until this past couple of weeks when I'm, 2 weeks when I've been trying to get back on track. Sleeping fine. Everything else is fine. My symptoms have gone away. Like my boobs are not like sore anymore. Sometimes I get pressure in my stomach, but I don't know what that actually is, and it's not like I'm passing anything. So yeah, I am doing okay. I promise you. Like, I do not want you to worry. I am really doing okay, and I think I'm processing it pretty well. Like, I'm feeling the feelings. I'm letting them come, and then letting them pass, and then I'll be okay. And God bless Ben for trying to be so sympathetic and compassionate. It is not his forte. He always proclaims himself as an asshole, and sometimes he is, but he's very concerned about me and my well-being and my mental health and how I'm feeling and just how this whole experience is. And I think in some way he also feels like this is a failure. Like, we had a plan, we were going to do this, and this is what we wanted, and now we aren't, and it's setting back our plan. He's more matter of fact about it, like, in that regard. Like, I think that's how he feels, but I appreciate that he's tried to go to, like, the appointments with me, and he was like, if you need me to take you tomorrow, I will. And I don't want people here, like, suspecting or knowing that Ben and I are, like, at doctor's offices together. This place is notorious for one person thinks something, and then it's like a weird sadistic telephone game. It's a mess. So the people that need to know. The people that don't need to know can mind the business. And tomorrow I get my DNC, and then I will update you. So I love you. Thank you so much for being supportive, and just be kind to yourself today. You know what I mean? Just have a little bit of self-care. Take it easy. Hug your babies if you have them. Send me pictures of your babies if you have them. I love seeing kids. I love them so much. I really do. So, all right. That's it. It was a long 19 minutes, and I think that's enough for today. So I'll talk to you guys later. I love you. Bye.